What's up? What's good? Welcome back to another video. I fucking hate intros, so literally I sat here for like a couple minutes. Like I don't know what to say. Like I never know what to say. I just feel awkward until I start, and then it's like, okay, I know what I'm doing from there. It's just fuck. But I'm so inconsistent with videos, with lack of self motivation and type shit. But I have been wanting to do this series for months now. Anytime I'm alone with my thoughts, this is one of the first things that comes to mind is just being able to sit down and talk to the camera about real shit that I feel like other people are probably going through too, and stuff that will just really help if I just like talk about it. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't necessarily have anyone to talk about it to. So that's why there's this series. So welcome to the first episode of Miserable Melancholy Mondays. I'm not exactly sure it will be every Monday or every other Monday, but just expect on Mondays, some Mondays there will be one of these videos. I already have 5 videos like prepared, like subjects, like not like actually like written out, and there's always more that like pop into my head. Like this is just like I was at work one day and I just started making a list of ideas for this shit. So with all of that out of the way and enough yapping, I think it's just time to get into this video. Okay, so a reoccurring theme in this video, because if you've seen any of my other recent videos, you can tell really like smoking, but I'm not really gonna make that a forefront of these videos. That's just kind of like, these videos are really like, imagine like you're reading my diary. Like I'm giving you like a huge insight look into just me. Like I'm just gonna be super like vulnerable and shit. So if you want to like clown me in the comments, I really don't care. These are just my genuine opinions and shit, and like just stuff I like want to talk about, that I feel passionate about. So okay, also I have a basket of clothes beside me. I normally don't have like clothes just on my TV, but I thought I'd multitask. But okay, today's episode is something I think about a lot, and something that has been like on my mind like a lot recently. Also, I have an AirPod in because I fucking hate like just super quiet noises, and it has to be quiet when I'm recording, or else like the background noise will affect the video, of course. So like, if you're wondering why there's an AirPod in my ear, yes, I'm talking to this mic. This is connected to my phone. I'm listening to music. Ooh. Okay, today's episode is about perfection and the imperfections. Now, what I mean by that, and what that means to me is, when I'm going about life, and when most people are going about life, or maybe not most people, but some people are pessimistic. I'm a very pessimistic person. So when I look at things, I immediately see the worst. I immediately see all the flaws and everything wrong. But the perfection and imperfection is looking at those imperfections and seeing that it makes like it more real. It makes it more like down to earth, grounded, like with people, music, or other topics I'm going to get into later. It takes what, you can also look at it the other way. It takes the perfection and makes it more real and like relatable. But then there's taking the imperfection and making it make beauty like out of the worst, if that makes sense. I'm kind of talking on my ass. Like I have like bullet points, but I don't have exactly what I'm talking about, so bear with me. Like the perfect example would be the diamond in the rough. You would never know there's a diamond there unless you looked into the rough and found the perfection and the imperfections. You know what I mean? Which, I'll merge my first two topics because that was a bit on the first topic, which was trying to find light in the dark, which, like I said, is finding the diamond in the rough and really just acknowledging that not everything has to be perfect. So you don't always have to have everything perfect, but also sometimes the imperfect things are already perfect how they are. It's just your perception of looking at things, if that makes any sense. Again, I'm just talking on my ass, so I really am like just kind of going with it. But the one thing I want to relate it to is art and music. Now, art, like paintings, one of my absolute favorite artists clearly is Samuel Dalby. Now, his art really lays in the uncanny valley of things, where it is ultra realistic while at the same time not leading into this perfect in-between of surrealism. So you'll look at his art and of course, like, you'll look at it and be like, that's beautiful. Like, the detail, the way he painted it, the strokes, the colors, it's of course beautiful when you first look at it. But the more you look at it, you see, like, here's the full picture of the persistence of memory on screen right now. Of course, when you first look at it, you see the pretty clocks, you see the pretty trees. It's a little weird, but it's got this weird background. But if you look close, you see the self-portrait of Samuel Dalby, or I'm pretty sure that's what it is, or the weird, surreal-looking nose thing, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. The more you look at it, you see the imperfections and the perfection. But also, that's what makes it perfection, is those imperfections. If it was just a beautiful, surreal background and you just saw the pretty clocks, the pretty tree, you might think about it for a little bit, but eventually you're not going to think about it. But the more you look at it, the more you think about it, the more you're like, that's beautiful. Like, I love the uncanny valley. That's like one of my favorite like subjects and things to think about. Uncanny valley is just like, I don't know, it's really interesting to me. But another perfect example to me would be, this might be a little corny, but another perfect example to me would be the Juice WRLD song from Goodbye and Good Riddance, Flaws and Sins. Now, in that song, the whole entire song is literally, or the chorus, let me look it up so I'm not butchering it. The chorus is literally, I'm in love with all your flaws and sins. Your scars are really gorgeous. Ain't that a weird way of giving compliments? I'm all in. I'm really all in. Now, that's one of my favorite Juice WRLD songs. When it came out, it was one of my favorite Juice WRLD songs, and it still is. Probably for the reason of how I think about life and how I think about the perfection and imperfections all the time. When he says, your flaws and sins are really gorgeous, that's what really grounds a person to me. When I look at a gorgeous woman, which just leads into my next topic, women and people in general. When I look at a gorgeous woman and I really look at them, of course, when you first look at them, you get that, like, just love at first sight, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. You fall for them, you think they're gorgeous. Then the more you look at them, you realize, like, of course they're gorgeous, they're beautiful. Like, not, this doesn't make them any less beautiful, but like, they have a scar on their stomach, or they have a gap between their teeth, they have kind of a big forehead, they have a weird shaped nose, they have braces, they have whatever is not inherently beautiful, But the more you look at it and the more you realize that makes it them, because that scar they got when they was a kid from an accident, the gap between their tooth is because they fell while riding a skateboard and broke their tooth. The I can't remember the other things I used, but you get what I'm saying. The what isn't inherently beautiful on a person, when you look at that, when you look at them, makes them, to me, more beautiful, if that makes sense. Because it has a story behind it, or it has, like, for example, I remember now, the big nose or big forehead. You might be like, well, I'm not trying to sound like a horrible person, but of course you might be like, well, she'd be prettier without the big nose or big forehead. But then you have to remember or think back, or they'll tell you a story of when they was younger and they would have always be made fun of for that big nose or big forehead, or the freckles or the acne or the whatever the fuck. Then it makes them, to me, like they're showing vulnerability, and that makes them more beautiful. Like, seeing the vulnerability in a person is the most beautiful thing. Like, that's showing your soul. That's opening up your chest and revealing your insides, like your heart, like showing that everyone is just flesh and bones. We're all the same. And to me, that's the most beautiful thing you can really show a person. Yeah, for so long, my blunt. I gotta relight my blunt. Like I said this entire time, I'm kind of just talking out my ass. And I hope that any of this can be relatable. And maybe it's not. Maybe you're just thinking, what the fuck is this guy talking about? I can't relate to that at all. When I see a fucking girl with a big forehead, I just am like, ooh, she's got a big forehead. Which to me, that's just being immature. Like, as a kid, of course I wanted the best, most attractive girlfriend and didn't care about personality because I just wanted to show off to my friends. As an adult, like, of course, looks, like, you're always going to judge a book by its cover. Like, you're not going to go out of your way to talk to a person unless you have somewhat interest or attraction to them. I guess maturing is just realizing that, like, looks aren't everything. And sometimes that girl that you looked at in school and was like, they're cute, but like they ain't, etc. Like, they ain't the hottest girl in school. You don't need the hottest girl in school. The hottest girl in school sometimes doesn't even have a good personality, and you can't even hold a conversation with them. While the girl who you think is just somewhat kind of cute has a fantastic personality, and the more you talk to them, the more you fall for them. And then after a couple months, you're like, why the fuck did I ever think that girl, etc., was all that attractive when you were right here in front of me the entire time, and you're the most beautiful thing in the world? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's, to me, the truest form of the perfection and the imperfection. But also, when thinking about this, you had to have a lot of self-reflection. Because, of course, you could go around judging other people's art, other people's music, other people in general. But if you're not doing the same to yourself, you're not really going to get anywhere, if that makes sense. How I think about it is, right now, in the corniest way possible, I love love. I love being in love. I love the whole dating. I love the first catching feelings, that awkward tension, that nervous feeling. Just everything about it excites me in the most beautiful, pure human excitement way. Like, if that makes any sense. But But right now, going into 2025, my biggest thing is, of course, I want love and I strive for love and I constantly like want to be in a relationship right now. But maybe the reason, maybe God, a higher being, the universe, however you want to think about it, is trying to tell me that right now isn't the perfect time because you haven't found the perfection in your imperfections. I'm still looking at myself with self-hatred and loathing and still not comfortable in my own skin. So how can I give 100% to a person when I haven't gave 100% to myself? That is the most vulnerable shit I've ever said on this fucking channel. Wow. I was trying to do laundry, but I really just ended up yapping the entire time. Okay. For the final part, the closing, the wrapping it all up. Of course, as I said, self-reflection, like, you can't just look at everyone else's imperfections and not reflect that on yourself. You can't look at someone and be like, I wouldn't want to date them because they're a little too chubby, as maybe they're thinking the same about you. That's how you got to think about everything. Think of, before you get mad at someone, or before you yell, or before you say something in general, just think about it from their perspective. Maybe they're just being ignorant. Maybe they just actually don't know. Maybe something's going on with it. Like, just go about life thinking things through. I know it's easy to just say some mean shit. Like, I'm a horrible person. I'm gonna say that outright. I push a lot of my friends away. I fucking say horrible, out of pocket shit for no. A great way to explain it is, my friend said this to me. Sometimes you do things that you might think is funny, but it's actually just you being a bad person. That shit kind of hurt. But instead of just being like, fuck you. I mean, I probably did in the moment, just being an ass. But, like, I'm reflecting on that. Like, my imperfection is I'm a bad person. So instead of just being like, okay, I'm gonna try and make myself better. I don't know. I'm sorry if this video was a rough watch. I'm just kind of yapping, getting things off my chest. I do feel better, and I hope some of y'all could relate. Hope you're smoking along with. If not, then that's cool if you don't smoke. But really, just make your imperfections perfection. Whatever you don't like about yourself, focus in on that until you are happy about how you feel, and then move on to the next. Go one step at a time, because trying to tackle all your imperfections at once will just weigh way too heavy on your mind and just put you into this depressive slump where you can't even make the first step on anything. So you're just taking steps backwards, and that's not getting you anywhere, clearly. So instead of tackling everything at once, it's a new year. just go 1 month at a time. The first month, if it's something simple like you don't like your attitude, take a couple weeks. Take the first week reflecting. Take the next week taking small steps. And then after that, like, sometimes, like, it's horrible, but one of the best things my mom ever said to me as a kid is fake it till you make it. And this one girl said, that's awful, but I think it's perfect because sometimes you don't want to be nice to that one annoying person, but it makes their day when you're nice to them. So in the long run, like, that's nice. Like, that makes you feel good type thing. I don't know. This video was a really rough cut. I'll try and have the next episode be a little more formatted better. Maybe smoking a blunt while I do this is not the best thing. But I hope some of y'all could relate to this. I hope I don't know, I'm just really fucking high right now. And that made me feel a little bit better. So I hope that made some of y'all feel a little bit better. But like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified if that shit even works anymore. Thank you so much for 300 subscribers. That video just came out. This will come out like a week after. And yeah, if you have any topics you want me to talk about or you feel like I could relate to from watching this episode, go ahead, comment down below. Love talking with y'all. Love the comments. Yeah. Love y'all.
My goddamn thing! My brother!